In 2022, NASA pointed the most powerful telescope ever built at the oldest light in the universe. What they expected to see was the standard picture, a cosmos that formed slowly, predictably, over 13.8 billion years, exactly as the model said it should. What they found instead was something that has sent the entire field of cosmology into a quiet crisis it still hasn't resolved. Galaxies that are too big, black holes that are too old, hundreds of mysterious objects that match nothing in any known category, and a universe that is expanding at a speed that breaks the equations we use to describe it. Every assumption the standard model of cosmology was built on is now being questioned, not by fringe theorists, but by the scientists running the telescope. This is what the Webb telescope actually found. Since Webb came online, a specific anomaly has appeared in virtually every deep image it takes. Astronomers are calling them little red dots, not metaphorically. Hundreds of compact, intensely bright red objects that show up in almost every photograph the telescope captures when it points at the deep universe, the light from the first billion years of cosmic time. Princeton astrophysicist Jenny Greene has been studying them since they first appeared. Her assessment: "This is the first time in my career that I have studied an object where we truly do not understand why it looks the way it does. They're red because they're impossibly distant, so far away that the universe's expansion has stretched their light into the infrared by the time it reaches us. But they're also inherently red in ways that don't fit either explanation astronomers have proposed." The first hypothesis was dust. The objects were surrounded by dust clouds that filtered their light. That was the consensus for 2 years. Then new observations broke it. The revised hypothesis is that they're growing black holes surrounded by dense hydrogen gas. That's currently the leading theory. But astronomers are careful to note that every previous expectation about these objects has been proven wrong. There are roughly 1,000 confirmed little red dots. They dominated the early universe. In the modern universe, closer to us in time, they are 100,000 times rarer. Something happened to them. Nobody knows what. Jorat Mathie, who named them, described them as potentially a missing link. Objects that could reveal how the supermassive black holes at the center of every galaxy, including our own, actually formed. We don't know how black holes get that large. We've never had a clear answer. The little red dots might be the answer, or they might be something else entirely that breaks every model we have. The little red dots are part of a larger problem Webb has created for cosmology. Under the standard model, supermassive black holes form slowly, over billions of years, accumulating mass through gradual accretion. The universe needs time to build them. Webb keeps finding them fully formed in the earliest observable period of the universe, within the first few 100 million years after the Big Bang. Black holes the size of billions of suns, existing at a point when there simply wasn't enough time for them to grow that large. In March 2026, researchers studying Webb data found a black hole that, by any standard cosmological timeline, shouldn't exist. It was too massive, too early. The lead researcher's summary was blunt: a black hole that formed in a universe that hadn't had time to make it. This isn't a single anomaly. Webb has found dozens of these objects. Each one represents a crack in the standard model. Together, they represent a structural problem that cosmologists are now openly acknowledging. The galaxies around those black holes compound it. Webb has found massive, fully formed galaxies from the earliest period of the universe, galaxies that the standard model says would have required billions of years to build. They existed hundreds of millions of years after the Big Bang. The math doesn't work. One peer-reviewed paper published in 2025 stated directly, "The massive and bright galaxies observed by Webb at high redshifts have challenged our understanding of the universe." If the idea that the most advanced telescope we've ever built is breaking the equations we use to describe reality keeps you watching, subscribe. Things That Shouldn't Exist goes this deep, every single week. Underneath all of this is a problem that predates Webb, but that Webb has made significantly worse. It's called the Hubble Tension, and as of April 2026, it remains completely unresolved. Here's the problem. There are 2 ways to measure how fast the universe is expanding. The first uses the cosmic microwave background, the faint radiation left over from the Big Bang, to calculate the expansion rate from the beginning of time. The second uses observable objects like stars and supernovae in the nearby universe to measure the rate directly. Both methods are well established. Both have been refined for decades. Both are considered reliable. They produce different answers. Not slightly different. Significantly different, in a way that cannot be explained by measurement error. The nearby universe is expanding faster than the early universe predicts it should be. The gap between the two measurements has been confirmed by multiple independent teams using multiple independent methods. Webb was supposed to resolve it. Instead, the data Webb produced confirmed the tension exists and deepened it. A Chinese Academy of Sciences analysis published in March 2026 found evidence that dark energy itself, the force driving the universe's expansion, has been evolving over cosmic time. That would mean the fundamental constant we use to describe the universe isn't actually constant. If dark energy is not constant, the standard model of cosmology, the framework that describes the origin, structure, and fate of everything that exists, requires revision at its foundation. To understand why this matters, you need to understand what the standard model of cosmology actually is. It's not just a theory about space. It's the framework that describes where matter came from, how structure formed, how time itself has progressed since the beginning. It is the foundation on which every other model in physics is built. And Webb is finding things that don't fit inside it. Black holes that formed before they had time to form. Galaxies that assembled faster than the model says is possible. Hundreds of objects that match no known category. A universe expanding at a speed that contradicts its own origin story. Nobel Prize-winning cosmologist Adam Rees, one of the scientists who discovered dark energy, has stated publicly that the Hubble tension is real, it is not going away, and it likely points to physics we don't yet understand. The scientific community is not claiming the universe is impossible. They're saying the map we've been using to describe it is wrong in ways we haven't identified yet. What's on the other side of that revision is genuinely unknown. It could be a minor correction. It could be the discovery of a fifth fundamental force. It could be evidence of something that existed before the Big Bang, which the standard model says is a meaningless concept. Webb didn't find aliens. It found something potentially more unsettling. A universe that doesn't behave the way our best physics says it should. We built the most powerful telescope in human history, pointed it at the beginning of time, and found hundreds of objects we can't explain.
Construction of James Webb Space
Black
Telescope
holes that formed
started
before
in
they had time to
2004.
exist, and a universe
17
expanding at a
years of work
speed that
later,
breaks our equations.
on Christmas
The
Day,
scientists running this
2021,
telescope are not panicking. They're doing what scientists do, building new hypotheses, running new models, publishing new papers. But the honest answer, the one Jenny Greene at Princeton gave on the record, is that we truly do not understand what we are looking at. A universe full of things that shouldn't exist, and a telescope powerful enough to finally see them. Drop a comment. Do you think Webb is going to break the standard model entirely, or are we one equation away from explaining all of it? Next week on Things That Shouldn't Exist, a radio telescope in Ohio picked up a 72-second signal from deep space in 1977. The astronomers circled it and wrote one word. It has never been detected again. The wow signal. Subscribe. I'll see you there.